When facing a crisis, we may think that God has left us. We can feel swept away in the storms of life. But I must say, my experience is God is always there, even in the most difficult times. This past week, I visited somebody who shared a story of a most challenging life. She had lived a long life and had experienced much disappointment and pain. At one point, she lost both her job and her home, leaving her with few possessions and an uncertain future, living with her family. The lowest period she told me about was when her partner was seriously injured in an accident, and he was so disabled by that she had to become his full-time carer, and then shortly after he sadly died. Yet despite everything she had endured, she had not become bitter. Instead, she reflected that throughout every trial, every difficulty, God had remained with her, giving her the strength and support she needed and hope to keep going. How amazing is that? But stories like this abound in the Bible, and the reason they're there is to remind us that we should be seeing God helping us in every aspect of our lives, and it shouldn't be unusual for us to think this way. In the Bible, there are accounts when trouble, loss, and failure do not mean God has become distant. Rather, God is revealed, walking alongside, step by step. And the Book of Ruth in the Bible opens with Naomi experiencing deep grief. She'd lost both her husband and sons in a foreign land. And Ruth, her daughter-in-law, also grieving, goes with Naomi to leave her homeland and journey to Israel. And so together these two widows find themselves destitute and desperate until hope comes along in the form of a stranger. And the story goes on, and Ruth eventually marries this stranger. And the story ends with joy, the birth of a child. And the amazing thing is this child became the grandfather of King David, the most famous king in the Bible, who was an ancestor of Jesus. So Ruth became an ancestor of Jesus. Unlikely a foreigner would do that, but the Bible shows that no one is excluded from God's plan if we trust in him. And so through this story of Ruth, there's redemption, and God shows how he weaves bad circumstances into good outcomes. And this is stated in the Bible in Romans chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So when you go through hard times, remember, Jesus is God's answer to this troubled life. And pray that God will give you the hope you need, that he is always with you. Just remember, he is all that you need, an anchor for your soul.